Hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, just getting set up here. So let's maybe turn that music down just a little bit. Cool, alrighty. What are we doing tonight? So tonight we're going to have a bit of a look at some AI stuff, specifically looking at OpenAI and ChatGPT. So I have a plan, and I want to try and build a little application that effectively is a little game. It's kind of like a text adventure game. And what I want to try and do is see, can OpenAI and ChatGPT actually play this game? If I give it kind of prompts telling it what to do through the game, can it send commands back to the game and actually play the game? Very simple, not going to make it too complicated, but I guess before we get into a lot of the AI stuff, we're going to first write the little game itself. We're just going to use .NET. It's just going to be a little console app, nothing too strenuous there. And then we're going to learn how to interact with the OpenAI APR. And go from there. We'll see how far we get. It's only going to be 2-hour stream tonight. It's 9 PM for me at the moment, so I'm not going to go too late. But anyone watching, feel free to jump in the chat and we can talk about AI, talk about what ChatGPT is doing, talk about the GPT models, where we think they're going to go, and what they think they're going to be capable of in the future. So let's get started. So I've created a dev container. So this is how I like to always start. So I'm just going to use the .NET dev container. And we're just going to grab our terminal. And just expand that out a bit. And let's get started. So I'm going to go .NET new console. And let's just call this one AI game. Cool. Alrighty. So that's a standard hello world there. Yeah, we can build the assets, that's fine. So we're not going to really need anything there for now, but let's make a new file. And let's call this game CS. Helps if I put it in the AI game folder. Good start. Okay, so make this a game, public class game. Alright. And let's see, so I'm gonna want some key information. So let's do just a bool. Is playing. So what we're doing here is just setting up a boolean to say, is the game running? That's fine. And we're going to say, okay, we want a public found treasure. So that's going to be kind of our goal. Yes, we're going to do the find treasure. Now, before I go any further, speaking of AI, I need to include this in my dev container kind of base, but we want Copilot. Copilot's going to help here. There we go. Let's install Copilot into the container itself. Oh, that's new. Copilot assistant, voice assistant. Now, I'll play with that another day, but that's certainly something I want to play with in the future. So that's cool that that's there now. Alrighty. So back to here. Alright. Cool. So we've got a treasure. Have a key. So that's going to be a key that the AI can find to unlock the treasure. Alrighty. So that's got some base cases here that we'll want. And then we'll say, so what we have here is we will have a new constructor, so I'm going to do a public game. We'll set these planks true and found treasure in the key to false. And then we're going to want public. Yep, there we go. Oh, okay, interesting. Copilot's already kind of giving us kind of what we want, which is good. So we'll start that. So now when we do this, so we'll just start doing it from here. But say start game loop. So that's fine. We don't need any of that stuff because we're not doing any display. So while it is playing, and we're going to say, okay, first thing we want to do is to show room. So let's just get rid of that at the moment. Actually, won't. We'll just put a loop of show. There's a few other things we should set up first. We should actually define kind of the rules, because we're doing this as a text adventure. So we want to kind of define a set of rooms for the AI to kind of go through. So let's make a new file, and we're going to name this one room. Class room. Cool. And then this room will have a, we'll call it an ID. We won't give it a name. We'll just give them IDs for now. And then what we're going to say is we're going to want exits. So we want to have this be a string array exits, and that will give non-nullable property. That's fine. We'll set that in a constructor. But when we do that, we'll do a public string description. That's fine. Yeah, we'll do a list of items. So there could be a set of items. There could be the treasures. Could be the key. Actually, we'll do the key and the items, but we'll do the treasures separately. There's treasure. Not string, we want that to be a boolean. So that'll be a bool. Alrighty. We're not going to do the has key because I said that key will be part of the item. And yep, we'll set up a constructor there. Okay, so now we have kind of that in place. Now, what we need to think about is how we're going to move between the rooms and how are the rooms connected. So actually exits, while that tells us something, we actually want that to be kind of a connection between rooms. So what we might do is make this let's use a vector. Can I use vector? Actually, no, we won't use a vector, we use a tuple. So if we use a tuple and we say a tuple of string, no, tuple's not going to work here. So I want it to be an array of it. So let's use a key pair. So we're going to do a list of key pair values, and it will be string and ID. So we're going to do string and int because the ID is int, and that'll be called exits. In the second bracket there. So we have a public list of key value pairs of string and int. So an exit will then correlate with, I'll put a comment there, going has a direction and a room ID. Thank you, Copilot. Alrighty, it doesn't like it here, that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll just change that type. Could it help us with that? No, not in the middle of a thing. So we go list, key, value pair, and we'll do string and int. And that is exits. What don't we like? Missing a press there. There we are. And yep, exits. Alrighty, we are good. So now we have a object which describes a room, and that's good. Alrighty. So we go back to our game, and now what we want here is we want private list of room called rooms. Great. And we'll put a method in here called create rooms. Cool. And we'll just generate that method. There we go. We have private void create rooms. And that's where we'll put our logic to how we're going to set up these rooms and try to work out how they're connected. So that's all good there. And now what we'll need to do now is also keep track of the current room. And I also want to keep track of visited rooms. So what this will be for is when we want to play back and see what rooms have been visited in what order to achieve the goal. Okay. So while it's playing, so what we want to do while this is playing is we also want to check if the treasure has been found. So actually what we'll do is check treasure unlocked or open. So let's go and generate that method. So if the treasure has been opened, actually we don't need to check. We'll do that differently. We won't do that. So what we want to do is while we're playing, so let's have we want to get input from player and then process the input. And then yep, we're going to update the game state. We're not going to do any rendering because this is purely text based. And that should be fine because when we check the commands, so we give it a command, we can in the command where we say open treasure box or something, that can be the trigger to stop the game. Okay. So get play from input, process input, update game state, send game state back to player. So this is what we'll use to actually output the game state back to that player. Cool. Alrighty, so what should we start on first? Let's start on how we want to get the input from the player. So obviously we'll implement two methods to do this. We'll implement one method which is us doing it through just the command line, so we can test the game, but then we'll also implement a way of getting the input and sending the input back to an API, which would be the open API when we get around to that point. So if we do get, so we'll call get player inputs, and we'll generate that method. Cool. And we're going to actually want that to be a variable. So we go var, let's call it just a string for the moment. And we go var string as to string input. Var input. Don't need to say string there because we're using a var. You put string here though. So if you've never seen that before with C#, the var here is just essentially we're doing a dynamic typing. So we are getting the type from the method here, and then that's effectively overriding the var. Just means we can be a bit more loose with what we're doing with calling a particular variable. We don't have to hard type it and say, okay, well this is string input. We can, just shortcut it. Cool. Alrighty. And then we'll want to process input. And again, what we're going to do is var output, and we'll assume this is going to be it's going to let us do the quick fix on this one. I'm going to generate property, and it says object, but we'll override that to string. So we get the player input, we pass it to a method which then gets the output, will processes that input and then gets an output. We will then do an update, call it game state, update game state, that makes sense. Okay, and then what we'll do is we will then update player, and what I want to do here is send any output from the input that we've were processed and the current game state. So, because we may have a situation where we might want to communicate to the player that they've changed to a new room. So that would be the game state, would be the room. And then also provide any extra output for extra context. Alrighty. So, let's start with the get player input. Alrighty. So again, we're just going to do it nice and simple. There we go. What we like to do. And then we return console.readline. Now it's giving us a warning that we have a possible null reference here, so what we'll do, so I'm going to do that. So we're going to essentially give it a console.readline, and then we're going to say if not that, we don't want to do that one, so we go turn player input. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm using the double question mark here as effectively a null check, and I'm saying if this is null, so that there was no input at all, then return a blank string. And this is just capturing for if somehow there was the readline failed or something weird happened, then the application is just not going to crash because it has a null. So we're essentially calling all nulls from this an empty string. Cool. Alright, so that's player input, nice and easy. And now it comes down to process this input. Now we are going to be expecting kind of a syntax with what we're getting the player to do. So this is something you could look at doing further down the line of having an AI in the game, so a ChatGPT in the game as running the game that's able to take that as an input and kind of understand what that input is. But in the case of what we're trying to do, we're saying no, we want the AI to give us a structured output so that this simpler program can understand what it's doing. So we're not trying to run two AIs against each other at this point. Alright, so if we say, what is the input going to look like? So let's have a think here. So we might want commands, so to be exit look, go, take and use. Yep, that makes sense there. So we can say exit. We won't do that. We'll just do look, go, take and use. Yeah, we'll keep it very simple for the moment. Alrighty. And yep. So look around the room. So what we're going to do now is we're going to. So what do we expect this command to look like when we're actually receiving it? So it will be. So let's say we're expecting the keyword to be first. So we expect. So we do. So let's not do that. We expect the keyword to be first. So what we're going to do is we're going to say command, and then we'll split it here. Okay, so in this case we're going to split all of the entries on empty string, and then we're going to say if the command equals look, then that's fine, and then if the command equals go. Alright, so we're going to, the exit is the, no, I don't think that's, I don't know, that's what, so we're looking for the key, which is, commands, is that doing what I want it to do? Because if we say south, then yes, that should do it. So we're looking for any room or any exit for that room that has that key. That's fine. And then set the current room to the room player wants to go to, add to the visited room, and then return the room description. Yep, that looks fine. And then can't go that way. That's great. Okay, nice and easy. And then where are we at? So next we want to take. Okay, so we're looking for any of the items in the room. Okay, so what we need to do here, and what we haven't done, is add it to a player's inventory. So we don't have an inventory yet. So let's fix that. So let's just do, we'll do a private list string inventory, and that's fine. What we should do here as well is be setting some defaults, just to make sure that they are initialized. Current room, and current room will set to null. There is no value for current room yet. It's a non-nullable type. Okay. Well, that's right. We'll figure that one out later. We'll do something like when we create the rooms, we'll do that. Go current equals create rooms, and then create rooms will return a room. So the expectation here is create and return starting room. So that's fine. Alrighty. That's complaining because there's not something there. Room may be null. So what we're going to do there, first or default, that's fine, and we'll just go. Oop. I'm going to just wrap this in a, if room does not equal null, continue. And we will just do an else. So an else that we can't go that way. And that's fine. This one's more of an error, which we shouldn't get. So maybe we'll just do error, can't find the room. Just so we know that's an error, rather than being a valid input. Alrighty, so continue down, add the player. So we do an inventory.add, that's good there, nice and easy. Did we have any other? Yep, so all good. It's kind of, again, Copilot's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us here, which is great. So we're checking, so we're going to check the item as a key. If the item, current room has treasure, found treasure, turn true, return a message to the player, which is fine, and then we will add that into the game loop when we check state of if found treasure is true, then game's over. Okay, I think is that everything we need. Now you're still telling me that you don't have a output for all. Use. Alright, and I think what we need there is the base case. So where we don't know the command and we return I don't understand. Cool, that's all good. Alrighty, so that's what we're doing with the player input. And we get the player input there, expecting that. Okay, so that's getting us our output. Now we're going to do an update the game state. So now game state, we'll change this to string, is going to be on specific actions. So we don't actually need the string input here because the game state does not apply on the input. The game state is checking for is have we found the treasure. So treasure is possibly a spell, and then there we go, nice and easy. Alrighty, and then player input, so we need one last one, which is then to update the player. And then what we'll do here, now we actually had the game state here, but what we want is the output, and then we want the, so we don't need anything actually, so we want the output, but what we'll do is we will output, and then we will, actually what we'll do is we'll do a bit of a string build here. So we want to combine these two. So we will say string builder sp, leaving here string builder. Now it might complain because we don't have, there we go. I'm going to add a using in because we're using the system.text because I'm trying to be a bit more creative with that. And we're going to do dot append, and we're going to append. Now let's always append the room. So we'll go current room description, and then we will add a new line. And then we're going to be let's append the exits. That makes sense. And we'll do that and append a new line. Yeah, let's append the items. Makes sense. And then append the output. And right, again, Copilot's doing a lot of the heavy work for us here, which is nice and easy. So cool. So that's that. Processing the input here. Alright. Sure. Then I think all we need to do to get this basic one up and running, and now it doesn't like something because we took away the game state from that. We don't actually need to return the game state here either because it's not doing anything. We don't need that, and we effectively all we need is this, and make that a void. So we're just going to update the game state, and the game will end. So that's fine. So we might do a console write line here, just so we're at least seeing for us for an output. Okay. Now we get to a bit more of the fun and games. So, what we want to do is create. We don't want this to be the same each time. We want it to be kind of more randomized. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set. So let's say int of max rooms and int of min rooms. Alright, and we're going to create a random number of rooms, and we'll just grab that random, and we're going to create a list of rooms. Alright, it's not quite, so this is part I'm not expecting Copilot to do a whole heap of, so that's fine. Alright, so we've got a random number of rooms. Okay, have a bool treasure placed false, bool key placed false. Okay, so we want to track, have we made a room that has the key in it, and have we made a room that has the treasure in it? Okay, what we'll do is we'll create the rooms, what am I going to do here? So I want to be able to kind of do a random walk. Oh, let's see what Copilot's given us. Yeah, it's kinda doing it. Let's have a look. Let's work through this and see what it's doing. So we're going to make a random number of exits between 1 and 4. Makes sense. We're going to create a list of those exits, and then we're going to iterate over the number of exits, and then we're going to randomize the number of which room the exit is connected to. So this is going to be really random if we do this, because then there's no kind of logical layout of the rooms, but that's okay for the moment. We're not going to worry about that too much. We might come back to this later and create something a bit more deterministic, a bit more kind of rooms have to kind of, you can't have a room that links to one that was kind of 2 rooms ago type thing. It's got to have actually make kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for, kind of spatial sense. So, but we won't worry about that too much at the moment. So we're going to add, alright, so that's adding the list of exits. Okay, so that's the exits, okay. And then random number of items. Sure, we'll use the items that have done it. And add. And then we'll keep those ones. And create the random treasure and create the random key. Now, what's going to happen there though is we've got the key in this list here of random items. So what we might want to do is take the key out from that. Now we don't really have any. We're not going to really have any use for these other items for the moment, so that's okay. So right, treasure's not been placed. Not sure what it's trying to do here actually, because that's giving a random. Yeah, not sure what it's trying to do here. So what we want to do here is select a random room. To place the treasure. Okay. We'll go. Alright. No, it's not really understanding what I'm talking about. That's alright. Now, have we created all the rooms yet? No, I think we're still in the loop for the number of rooms. So we don't actually want to do that. Not in here. So we're going to add. So let's just do this here. Add, and then so what we're doing here is we're saying, give me the room with an ID, a list of all the exits, a description, the items as a list or as an array, and then the has treasure flag. That's fine. And now we want to do is we want to place treasure in a random room, and then key in a random room. So the treasure room there, and what we want to do is get the treasure room and then set that to true, and then dot description, add the treasure chest to that room in the description. And what we'll do here is we'll just again do if null, then we do those. So again, just doing that null checking. Should never be null since we've just created the rooms, but again, doesn't hurt to check. Alrighty. And we'll effectively do key, so room, key room. We'll actually rename this one treasure room. No cut. We'll call this one treasure room ID. Yeah, is that working here? Whole lot of red lines here because I decided to change that in the middle. That's fine. That's fine. You don't like that because it could possibly be empty. So I'm just going to leave that warning for the moment. We will come back and deal with that later. I don't like leaving warnings, but that's just me. And we'll again do the same here before it gets too messy. Alrighty. Go there. And then if key room not for null. There we go, and that looks pretty good. Cool. Alrighty. So let's go through that. We have to has treasure. That's fine. We don't need those now. That's effectively closing that. And what we'll do is, just in case, and we'll say if key room ID is equal to that. We don't want to add a second. We want actually, what we'll do it a bit of a greedy way. We're just going to tell it to recreate the whole thing. We're just going to do that. A bit recursive. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often. We don't. So we've got a max like up to 10 rooms. Realistically, we should get the treasure in the same room as the key very often. But if it does happen, just re-roll it. Cool. Alrighty. Now there are a few errors hanging around. And we want to return the starting room. So we don't want to. So do we return? Oh, no, we can do that. And then we return the first room. So now we could get a chance where the first room has the treasure boxes or has the key in it. That's fine. Alright, so I think we just got 3 warnings. Let's have a quick. So if we return a null here, then let's throw, there we go, throw an exception there. And again, we'll also throw exception. And we're do a new exception. So what we're doing here is we're just essentially doing some error handling so that we, if this fails, we know why. So in the case of this, it's we can't find the room. We've made a random ID for the room, but that ID doesn't exist inside the rooms we've made. Shouldn't happen. Again, we're just adding exceptions in. Alright. So we've got the game, got our room, we've got a way to generate them, and at the moment we're taking in taking in the inputs. So and then okay, what we might want to do here is in the get player input, we might want to prompt the player. Oh no, we are prompting the player. I already did that. Good. Alright, let's try build. Doesn't like it because we're in the wrong directory. So I'll go build. Alright, so now we should be able to do .NET run. So we should be able to run our game, and it says hello world. Aha, because I never actually called the game from here. So we want to okay, well it's not going to help us here, are you? There we go. Let's see if this works. .NET run. What would we like to do? Alright, so here, first problem. We have not described the first room that we are in. So let's go back and do that. What we might do is we'll set a boolean. we're going to set new game is equals true. So that's always going to be equal to true until we start it. Then what we'll go down here and say is if new game, then welcome to the game. Right line, and then we're going to do current room description, and we should have set the current room when we initialize the game, which we have. So now if we go and rerun that, I have double of that, and that's fine. So we don't need that one. Okay, let's try that again. Music might have crept up a bit loud again. Let's just cap that off. Alright, there we go. We are welcome to the game. You are in a room with lots of bats, and we see a treasure chest. Now we don't have all the exits. So what we need to do is, where did we output the information? I think it's further up. We called update player. So what we might do actually then is, rather than do all of this, we will still do a welcome to the game, and then we're going to call update player. So we don't have any outputs to display. That's fine. So we have an empty string there. Let's see if that does what we want it to do. Alright. So welcome to the game. You're in a room with a lot of spiders. You see a key. It exits to west. And then there's two items. There's a sword and a key. And now, what was our command? Our command was to take. So if we say take key. Cool. Now, we need some kind of feedback there. So you took the key. Oh no, you took the key. Oh no, that's right. Okay, what we need here instead then is we need something which is going to tell us that is the output. Alright. So we got the items, we got the output there. Let's say update player. There we go. And what I want to do here is to essentially give a little prompt there. Again, this is stuff will change when it comes to prompting for the AI, because again, that's different. No, okay, I'm gonna change something there. I don't want to have that kind of. So let's do it like this. We'll put gaps there. But we're only going to do that if outputs greater than 0. So I don't want to output, send anything to output unless there's something to actually output. Alrighty. Alright. Bright room exits south and east. There's a sword and a potion. So let's go east. We're in another bright room, but this time there's only a sword, and we can only go east. So now that's something we'll have to look at. I went east, but I can't go back. So we are going to have to create a graph or something to do this. But that's right. For now, go east. In a bright room. Let's go east again. Lots of swords. Just apparently keep going east. Wonder if that room's repeating. Let's try to go south. Oh, we can go west this time. Let's go west. Ah, we found the treasure chest. Now, of course, no guarantee when we move to the next room we can actually move back to this room. And in fact, we only have one way we can go from here. Go north. Oh, east. I think we're back in that same room again. There you go. So let's go east from this one. Ah, there's a key. Okay. So you've taken the key. Now, that's interesting. We didn't get a thing here. We also don't know what our inventory is, but we'll keep going for the moment. And we see here we got two exits that are both south. So if we say go south, I think I'm going to take it the first one. I think we're back in that loop again. There we go. We see the treasure chest, so we can now go use key. There we go, and we have successfully navigated. So there's a few things I want to change there. I want to give a bit more structure to the way that the kind of maze or puzzle is set out. And what we might do is create a set of... How are we going to do that? Like, create a set of rooms and fit them against each other in a way that we would enforce that there had to be exits connecting. Oh, that's an interesting one, actually. How do we go about doing that? So, what we're going to do, so we want to try and make the algorithm where there has to be more connection between the rooms. So this algorithm we have in here for creating random rooms isn't great. Alrighty. Let's have a think here. What do we want to do? So we create a room. So we create a number of exits from a random number of exits. No, okay, let's rethink this one a little bit. I'm just gonna destroy the room kind of creation. Well, I don't really destroy the room creation, we just need to change how we're doing the exits. Okay. So what we might do is create... So we want to create a way of tracking what rooms are connected to each other. Now, how am I going to do this? Maybe we need to Google this one. It might be a good algorithm somewhere. There's just some OpenAI stuff I'm looking. So actually, maybe no. Here's what we'll do. How about we go to ChatGPT and ask it. Say help. How am I going to do that? I don't want to build a platform. I want to go to OpenAI. and we want to go to ChatGPT. And I'll just duck the login over to the side for a moment while I do the login. Just disappear that for a sec. Okay. I'm just gonna use this one here. Right, let's see. So it's using Python, but that's right, we should still be able to kind of figure that out from there. Let's see what it gives us. Right, not quite what we're after. That's all right. Just let's ask for a random graph. So cool. All right. Makes sense here. So, yep, what we're doing there is so we're creating a random graph and then using that graph to be able to assign the rooms. I'll ask it to change this to C#. Alright. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do, we're going to ask it if it can add those rooms we were talking about to with the graph. Okay. And just looking over this and seeing, okay. Let's see if it works that. Okay, so it's giving us kind of like XY coordinates. Okay. So it's generating the numbers of the rooms. Alright. Okay, that seems to do what we want. So let's see if we can implement this code. So what we're going to do here is we're going to effectively steal this code. So we're going to grab this graph code. I'm going to call up a new file here. I'm going to go graph.cs. And we're going to paste that code. Alright. So that's fine. So this should create that random graph generator as we wanted it. We are doing two classes in the one file here. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but that's okay for the moment. And then what we want to do is we want to come back here and then let's have a look. So we know we've got our room already. So let's just move this across here a bit so we can do that. Alright, so when we create a room, I'm going to add in the X and Y coordinates. That's fine. So let's do that in here. So we can do the list of exits, that's fine still. So we go public, and yep, and we do X and Y, and then we'll add that in here, int X, int Y. And we'll do it like that. I mean, that's not great for readability, but I actually do want to change that because I'm not a fan of how readable that is. So in this case, we will do this.x and use the this word here. So effectively saying this belongs to the instance of the room that we're creating, and we're assigning it the value of x and y that's coming from the constructor. Okay. And we're doing the exits there, and that makes sense. All right. And then I'm going to create, I'm going to do it here, room generator. All right. And we'll room layout. Let's call it room generator. Okay. So we're going to public static room generate rooms. And sure, we'll use the ones here. There. All right. So we're going to call, do the random here. All right. And then we'll call the graph. There we go, that's fine. So we call that graph generator, we generate the graph. And then we say for room, so do we want to do the starting room? So what it's creating a multi-dimensional graph there, which you don't actually want to do. You just want to create a list. So that's fine. Right, let's think about this a little bit. Let's go back to our graph. The graph is just doing a number of vertices, so that's fine. So we don't need here. We just need the of rooms, and then we're just going to give this the number of rooms. All right, and then we've already got. So we'll do a list of rooms here for a list in here. Right, so we make that empty. Okay. So we've got a graph. Now, I'm going to ask it if it can actually... Let's ask it if it can do this with lists rather than... Oh, so it's got its rooms there, that's fine. Generate the number of rooms, we have a list. Okay, cool, that's what we're doing. Alrighty. Just realized I might be blocking some of it here on my screen. Just move it over so everyone can see it, so my head's not getting in the way. Alright. So this is what we're trying to do. Drop it down here. So so we've got the list of rooms, and then we're going to do a for loop. So for yeah, u is less than num rooms, and then increment u. All right. And then we say room, new room, saying use random, so we go rand next 0. Not sure why it's using 0 and 10 to do the random x, y. So I think that should be related to the number of rooms. So let's just ask it. There we go. So it's saying that we could do that with. So what we've identified here is that there was an upper limit which we didn't ask for, and could have caused a problem if we generated a large amount of rooms. And that's why you always want to be careful when you see things hard coded like this, because then you've got an inflexible system, and you don't want that kind of system. Okay, so let's go back to this again. So now to this range, which is fine, so we'll add that range in, and we'll cast this to int. We're doing the math square root number. So again, we're casting to int because we want whole numbers, and then we're putting the range here. Alright. Now, of course, it's going to complain a little bit because room has a whole lot more things in here. So we're going to do u will be the ID, x, y, and then the exits we haven't generated yet, so I'm going to make that null. Yeah, let's just make all the rest kind of empty at the moment. It's complaining, so it doesn't like the null. So we'll just make them empty. So this one, That was a list, wasn't it? It's collection, yes. So we go new. So we're just making that an empty list there. Don't really want to make them nulls. And so we're just initializing some empty, if that's a array. Make a string array of length 0. We're just getting it to initialize something which we will replace later. I've made these public. I've made these public so they can be updated later. That's fine. Cool. Alrighty, so that gives us the room there. And going back to this, and then we just add room. Alright. Cool. So that's generating all our rooms for us. Great. Now, again, we iterate. Equals 0. And then I'm going to iterate over the rooms again. Not quite what we're going for, Copilot. Thank you. So we're going to get the room with the IDs. We're going to go through each of the rooms. And we're going to go if graph dot has edge u and then u plus 1. And we go to say room. So that was E. And this one says, yeah, and then we say rooms. Now, another thing we're gonna have to watch here is does U plus 1 room exist? Yeah, we'll ask Copilot about that again. Yeah, this is one of the great things about AI tools with this kind of stuff is you can ask them. You can say, okay, I'm not sure if this is going to cause a problem or not. Ideally, you would kind of defensively program against this and say that you always want to check. Does the room have that exit? So is the next room going to be there? Or handle it if it tries to create something, an exit to a room that doesn't exist. So, but we are checking the rooms there, and this will do the reverse. So that's fine, and that's doing in the south and north, and the north and south. Now, is that going to cause an issue because if we're in another room and we're generating that? Let's remove those for the moment, because that could be doubling up and we could be then trying to add kind of the same key pairs in, which would be bad, and we don't want that. Alright, so that's fine. And what we might do here is I'm going to create the random description for the room. There we go. So room dot is equal to random description. Doesn't like something there? What don't you like there? But you are assigned. You say the use of unassigned the local variable, but you are assigned. Why don't you like that? Okay. We've got a lot more descriptions this time. Maybe that's why it doesn't like that. It didn't actually. not a square bracket, this is a curly bracket. There we go. We have a lot more descriptions this time. That's good. Now I'm not going to actually put anything in the rooms item wise except for the key and the treasure. I think we'll leave that as simplified. Alright, so that's the room description and the list of exits. And what was that one? Was that items? Yep, that's fine. Should really do a list there rather than a array, because we want it to be, we want to be able to add and remove from it. So let's do that quickly. So items should be a list of string. Yeah, because we've got that set just as an array, then it's going to be hard to be adding and removing things from it, because we would have to effectively replace the array each time we wanted to do something. Whereas if we have a list, it can be dynamically assigned and then dynamically removed from, so that'll make things easier there. Okay. And then we'll come here, and this will just become a new list of type string. And okay. And then we will do our to a random room. And I'm just going to do the same thing we did in the previous one. And then we'll add a key to a random room. Now I wonder if I can actually in here, so we want it, it's the ID here, because what I don't want it to be equal to the treasure room. Don't want the key in the treasure room. Actually, let's leave it. Let's say the key can be in the treasure room. Super lucky. Key is in the treasure room as you walk in, so you open it, get the key, and open the treasure. That's fine. Alrighty. Okay. So theoretically then, now what's not all code paths. Now it says room. Going to want this to actually return a list of rooms. List of room. So we will be returning rooms at the end of this. Yep, so that's here. Alright, so that's our generator. Alright, so we don't need any of this really. We're going to say rooms is equal to room generator generate rooms, and we want a max, so number of rooms, so and we'll do a random and we'll do that. Sure, between 5 and 10 rooms, and then num rooms. Alright. Cool. Cool. Yeah, and what I might want to do in a minute, because it is starting to get late, I will want to put this up on GitHub so that I do have at least this first cut here of the room. Now I am setting the current room, that's fine. Now what was the issue down here? We don't need the 2 array. Let's try this one again. There we go, much simpler. So that's simple. By moving away from the array there, we've also simplified that call, which is good. Alright. Alright, let's give it a try. We go .NET build to make sure there's no compilation errors. And there's not. And we say run. Oop, there we go, we have an error. So we've got an out of bounds array error. So this is on graph line 23. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to ChatGPT here and say so I had an array out of bounds error. Alright, so we need to ensure that the adjacency matrix. Okay. We have a number of vertices there. Alright, so what is it telling us here? So we should be, when we create the graph, let's go check that. So we create a graph to do the number of rooms. Okay. Now, I wonder if the number of vertices here actually needs to be double the amount of rooms. I'm just going to try that. And let's see if that makes a difference there. Where are we? Room generator line 27. Here we go. Index was out of bounds. So this is where we've created, I believe we're creating a exit to a room that doesn't exist. Okay. Well, again, let's go back to ChatGPT and see if we can work out what the issue there is. So, index out of range. It was 27. Let's see if this makes sense to it. Yep. Add check. Alright, so what does it change the check here? Yep, okay, there we go. So that's the solution. Alrighty. So again, so now we're working with this check here. So we'll take the condition here. And we'll paste it in here. So we're looking at the has edge, and now we're going to rename this number of rooms. That's fine, and then we'll grab the other condition. Alrighty. Again, we rename this to number of rooms. Alright, let's try again. Alright, so generated our rooms. So now apparently this room has no exits. That's not the best start. So if we say go east, it's going to not give us an error. That is also not good. Alrighty. So we go. Well, what I might want to do first. I wonder if that's generated as a disconnected graph. That would be kind of funny. Where are we setting the exit? So we're doing that here. We're going room exits add key value. Now in the game when we're displaying the output, how are we doing that? Now for each, yeah, we're doing for each in each of those, so that should be fine. Let's try that again. See if that. Right, I'm gonna have to check for that case. I'm not sure why we got that case, but that's all right. Oh well, we see the treasure chest and we see the key. So if we go take key. And then use key, and that's it. Alright, wasn't a very exciting one. Alright, we see the treasure chest, but we don't see a key, and we have exits. So we say go east. Now, when we go west, we should see the same room we were in before, and we don't. Cool, so that's not working. Because west, so we went east, and then when we went west, it should have been the same one. So this is saying we're in the same room again. So going west isn't connecting. Alright. So that's where I think we need to do what we were doing before. So where we have the reverse of these two. So let's see if that works. No, we have an index out of range of 23. That's on graph line 23, so that's the adjacency matrix again. Didn't I do something with that? Let's multiply this by 4. No, we're still creating and not having a big enough adjacency matrix. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think a bit more on this one and create a better algorithm. This algorithm is not really doing what I want it to do. All right, what I'm gonna do is here is I'm going to say create 100, and see if that's going to be big enough. No, it's still trying to assign things out of bounds. See if it figures out that. It's saying past the size of the adjacency matrix. Okay, but we do have that, so oops, I thought Vertices wrong, but anyway. Okay. So we have its edge. Don't think that's changed anything. I think it's fooling us a little bit here. So what is it trying to get us to do? So they haven't changed anything there. Now I'm using ChatGPT 3.5 here. Okay. So let's go through that. All right. So we're doing that, and then we're adding an edge. So let's do some output. Oops, don't do that. Let's just undo that. Alright. Let's see if that does anything. Okay. So it's adding these edges. So we're adding edges to every single one, which is not what I really want to do, but that's okay. Let's leave it at that for the moment. But the issue is when we add 99. Alright, let's reset this to number of rooms, because I don't want it to be that big. Alright. So let's yeah, it's going okay. Let's the AI I'm trying to get to help me write the code is being a bit pedantic. It's not actually telling me what I want to do. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do a try catch on this. Exception. I'm just gonna bounce that. No, line 29 is now an issue. Because it's trying to pull something on line 29. So that didn't solve our issue at all. Okay. What are we doing? I haven't done graph theory in a while, so it's definitely taxing my brain. Alright, it's saying that the issue is here now. Alright. So it's line 24, so it's the has edge. So I'm going to do it. Let's do it here. Oop, oop. Don't want that. Let's see if this helps us at all. So I'm doing random there, so that could also be it. That could be more of the issue. Let's add this and say that this is given. Okay. It's gonna tell me to do the same thing again. It's not. I don't think it's that class. I think It's this one here. Alright. So we've definitely got exceptions out of bounds here, but and we've also got it doubling up, which is not what we want as well. So let's go back to here because I think that's this one. So let's comment out these two. Let's see if this fixes that. No. East to east, okay. No. Yeah, that graph generation's not working at all. Alright, let's take its suggestion then and see what we get off with. Also, I may not have saved that code. That could also be a problem if you don't save. Alright, let's try this one. So we go south. Alright, now if I go north, do I go back to the same room? No, so again that's not working. It's not actually connecting back. So, what's this? Replace the add edge. Okay. Indenting. Just indent here. Alright. Still have exceptions. Okay, that's interesting. So if we go west, they go back to the same room. If I go south, then go west, go east, go north, take key, go south, go west, and use key. So that kind of works there. So it's just the first room doesn't seem to be populating properly. I wonder why that is. I wonder if that first room is just the one that... Okay, so we don't need these, that's working fine. What I might do is when I select the first room, let's do this. Let's just do a... Let's just do that. Alright. We still have an issue where we're still running out of bounds. If we go east, we should be back to the large painting. We are. Okay. Right, so... That's interesting. I'm in a disconnected graph. Yep. Okay. So we've still got to definitely sort out this 138. Turn the adjacency matrix. Okay, let's give it this again. Okay. Not what I wanted it to actually do. I know that it's throwing an exception. I wanted to stop generating section. Okay. Here we go. This is what I'm missing. Making the maximum size of the graph. Let's see if it gives me the whole code. I'll just use that. Okay. So if I copy that, so that's just the graph code. So we will replace our code here. Alright, we will do a build. Make sure that we can compile properly. Alright, let's see if it works. Still could not find an edge. Why can I still not find the edge? Saying that okay, this is maybe what I want. So, alright, let's just. So now it's going to create the edges. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now we're back to randomly in the edges. Okay, but now we're kind of back to what we were before. Okay, so we're back to the problem of having a disconnected graph. Okay, let's go back to creating a regular graph. So let's try this one, which I think should connect all of the edges together. Just fine. Oh. See if that works. No, it still can't find some edges. That is interesting. Okay, alright. I think we're getting a bit late here on this one. I may not get to fixing this in the end. But at least this is a pretty good example of showing how using the AI tools, we're questioning the tools, we're trying to get to the, essentially the bottom of why this is causing the issues it's causing. As you can see, it's trying to create edges where there are no edges. But let's have a quick look and see if I'm able to be in a disconnected graph or not. So if I go east, and then I go west, then it's not working. It's still, yeah, it's got itself trapped. Yeah, so this time it's already complaining, saying edges already exist, but it cannot find an edge between things. So, alright, I'm going to leave it here for tonight, and we'll come back to this another day. So what I will do is I'm going to go and do a git init. Alright, so I'm just going to change this. Doesn't like dubious ownership. Sure. And we'll just go put that in there. Okay. There we go. I don't want a branch called master. I only want a branch called main. That's fine. Okay. That should be fine there. And we'll do a then you git ignore file. That's fine. It's fine, so we'll do an initial commit there. That's fine. So, and then what we'll do is we will go over to GitHub. Alright, and I'm going to go and make a new repository, and it's me, I'm the owner, it's me, and we'll call this AI Playground, because we may add other things into this. Well, we should definitely add, yeah, Playground for missing an R there. Playground applications for working with OpenAI. Cool. We won't do that. Won't do that. Won't do that for the moment. Create the repository, and we will push the repository. So we'll do this one. Okay. And now if we, whoop. There we go. So we've got our dev container. Yeah, that's fine. Dev containers in there. So that should all be good. It's just VS Code stuff. There's our AI game in there. With that, git ignore. I want to add a license file. And I'm going to choose a license template. We're just going to do this one here. Actually, we'll just do the Apache license on this. I think that's going to be fine. So we want people to be able to use this stuff, so we'll use the Apache license on that. And I'm just going to commit that directly to the main branch for now. We pull that down, so we have that license in there, which is good. Alrighty, so I think that's it for tonight. Thank you for tuning into this kind of ad hoc stream. I'm still going to be streaming on Monday night. That will be back to our DevOps stream, where we'll be deploying an application up into Azure App Service. Yeah, just keep tuned in if you want to see any more of this AI stuff. I'm definitely going to continue this. I'm only making this basic game and kind of showing off some AI, well, not showing off, using AI tools for helping with development. I might have to go do a bit of reading about this graph system. I might be able to find something a bit simpler. Maybe we can use like a JSON file which sets out the rooms and things like that, make it a bit more deterministic. Is most likely a better kind of approach to this than trying to create random walking graphs, which in itself is a whole field of issues. Cool. Well, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next time.